My name is Roman Bain. I'm CPO of a company called FlexFactor. We believe we're the world's first agentic payments company that's focused on the problem of payment declines. And I'm here today to talk to you about how we view the world of payment declines, how we hope that you view the world similarly, or will, and how we can think about solving the problem of payment declines into the near future. By a show of hands, I'm curious, who here has had a card payment fail at some point over the past couple of months? Cool. A lot of hands, as expected. I don't know about you all. Maybe you all are more emotionally stable and secure than me, or whatever it may be. But when I have a payment decline, it's a frustrating experience. It's annoying. I wanted something to go through. I engaged, I clicked buy, and they said no. And now the question ends up being, is it me? Is it the website? Is it the network? What is the problem? And it's a moment that gives the consumer an opportunity to think through, do I really want to engage with this? Do I have a wallet that I can pull out and change my card? Do I have a BNPL like Klarna or Firm or whatever it may be to deploy? It just gives the opportunity to reconsider your decision. And so from our perspective, declines are a problem that haven't meaningfully been solved because technology wasn't available to do so. And so let's go on this journey of payment declines and look at it from a couple different angles and where the future is going for declines. So shift yourself from the you, personal consumer shopper mindset into yourselves as business owners, entrepreneurs, payments leaders, service providers, whatever walk of life you may come from. There's a very binary view of commerce. The transaction was approved or the transaction was declined. And this is a little bit, it makes sense. Hey, did you pay me? I will give you the good. I will ship you the shoes. I will provide you the service. It's a very straightforward way of looking at the world. But this mindset is costing the industry in aggregate close to $500 billion a year globally in payment declines, and costing you all individually as merchants millions of dollars a year of declines of order volume. Now, when I used to lead payments globally at a competitor to Stripe that's around the same size, maybe a little bit more European, that does some things that in competition with Stripe pretty regularly. And from my perspective, serving enterprise merchants, the average e-commerce merchant has between a 10 to 15% decline rate. So you've walked away from 10 to 15% of orders that may have gone through but did not go through because someone somewhere said no. Now mind you, let's think about that for a second. In that decline rate, there's legitimate fraud. People are buying cards online, they're trying to make it go through, they're trying to do stuff, fine. In that decline rate, there's legitimate people that are maybe using a gift card that has approximately $1 on there, or maybe are in a situation where they won't be able to pay in time. So there are legitimate declines that happen in the business, in the overall concept of engaging in commerce. But there's, in our belief, about a third of declines that happen that shouldn't happen, that are false positive declines. And that's the shame, because then you get into a moment where you've lost the chance with the customer. And from my data, again, from what I saw when I was at the place, the idea is if you decline a customer, if you insult a customer with that payment decline, over 60% of them will churn. Over 60% of them will say, you know what, this isn't the time, I've reconsidered the purchase, I'll try again later. And then at that point in time, you're trying to retarget them, you're trying to market them again and bring them back. It's a whole process. And so we have this view of the world that things are either approved or things are either declined. It's not that simple anymore. And we have technology to make that better. And so some of you may know MRC, the Merchant Risk Council. It's a group of probably thousands of merchants. I'm not sure exact number that's there, but they publish a survey every year, which is awesome. They survey the audience and population of a lot of payments and risk people, and they asked a different perspective on payments. And I thought one stat was awesome. They asked a question that said, what % of your orders would you consider false positive declines? They should have gone through, but they didn't. There's a level of discretion that happens there of like, well, how do I know what it is, what it isn't? There's all sorts of merchants that responded, but let me, everyone loves a good pie chart, right? But let me make it even simpler for you. In the bottom half, you had over half of merchants report that false positive declines cause them to lose between 2 and 10% of orders. Okay, so that's not of their declines, that's of their overall orders, they lost 2 to 10% of orders to false positive declines. And then similarly, on the top end, you have a little bit less than a quarter of merchants say that over 10% of their orders were lost to false positive declines. Percentages are nice because they make things easy to understand. Let's convert that into numbers. If you are doing $10 million ARR, which is a good, healthy startup, or if you're doing $100 million a year or $1 billion a year of payments volume, these translate into very material numbers. So let's take an example here. Let's take a midpoint of 5% just to make things easy with a merchant that does $100 million a year. That's $5 million of orders that were turned away, that shouldn't have been turned away, and legitimate orders that should have been gone through. And that's a shame. These are things that maybe many of you are in this category with 0 to 2%. And if you are, kudos. But there's a lot of money that's left on the table. There's a lot of growth left on the table that we think is right for the taking, right for the opportunity. So let's change the view. Let's think about the customer journey, again, that you are offering to your merchants, you are offering to your shoppers along this journey. We spent tons of money marketing, branding, getting the right message out there to get people to come to your website. Your TikTok is on point, your Instagram is on fire, your influencers are firing at all cylinders, and you've got them to come to your website. You've acquired them, you've got them there. Awesome. You got them to even select a product, the right pair of shoes, the right service, the right subscription model, whatever it is, you got them to say yes. Then you got them to checkout. You got them to enter in maybe their Chrome on file address, their card number, they did Apple Pay, they did whatever it is. And the moment they click buy is a very pure moment that I think we don't appreciate enough, because this is the moment that is the moment of their maximum intent. This is the moment where they're excited to work with you. They've made the decision to buy. They want to hand their card over and close the deal. And what we do here is we say, try again. We have a cool buy now, pay later, try again a couple hours, it'll work through, there's something else you can do. We need to be offering things. How do you do this more seamlessly? So I think you all get the view of the world that says declines are an unsolved problem and we need to be better at that. So with that in mind, there's a view of the world that says, hey, the old view, which has been since the kind of dawn of modern payments, is, hey, it's a terminal event. It didn't go through, tough luck. The modern view and forward-thinking providers like Stripe, among others, are saying, hey, these are intelligence opportunities. How do we get smarter at declines? How do we avoid them in the first place? And there's a spectrum of what intelligence can look like, from a dunning cycle or smart retries to ultimately to being able to apply AI to help avoid the decline in the first place. And that's what we're going to in the future, and that we think is going to be table stakes when you all come back here next year for Sessions 26. So let's think about this. What does the evolution path look like in a decline? Again, the beginning is too bad, so sad. We wish you could have done it. Try again at a different point in time. We'll send some emails to you afterwards. That's all fine and well, but it's lost revenue, it's friction, it's frustration, it doesn't feel good. On the flip side, you have, particularly for subscription merchants, a lot of recovery, smart recovery services that say, hey, don't lose that customer, don't lose that subscriber. We'll help you to figure out how, when they get paid, and we'll be able to step in and make the transaction go through. We'll send a signal in. That's all good. We think that there's a lot of opportunity where recapture revenue. Stripe has a great product that does this as well. But the future is indeed in prediction, being able to use modern tool sets like AI along with machine learning to be able to say, hey, this transaction should have gone through. Am I willing to take a risk that it should go through and ship the shoes on the presumption that I can get paid? And that's a major shift that a lot of companies are going to start to think through over the course of the next couple of years, because there's a lot of opportunity to be preemptive and reward customers and take a bet on them, as opposed to just say, hey, it's as simple as, did you make payment go through or not? And what's cool about it, if you attended the session yesterday morning with the head of information, it was during the product session, she had a cool cube on screen, Anyone know what I'm talking about? There was like a cube on screen, it had the lines going through it. If you're a Star Trek person, it was the Borg look-alike type of thing. It was a really cool item. It was talking about the power of AI and being able to make transactions go through, particularly when it comes to subscription transactions. I love that model because that's exactly how it works. But the idea is, how do you do that not just on subscriptions that is the third, fourth, fifth time they pay you, but being able to do it on the first time they subscribe, the initial purchase, they're buying a pair of shoes, they're doing something like that. That's what's really cool. And so what that means is that we've been able to come up with a service that allows you to seamlessly integrate, seamlessly save a decline, and the consumer never misses a beat. You never give that opportunity, if it was legitimate, like it was a false positive, that you can instantly make that go through without the consumer feeling any friction. And that's really cool because it's only power available now through the combination of machine learning and modern transformer models to help see this through. And so what does this mean for merchants that are on Stripe? We've been fortunate to work with Stripe on what they announced yesterday, Stripe orchestration, which is the idea that, hey, you can now use Stripe to power payments going anywhere. And so we are the first enabled app on Stripe that works with Stripe orchestration, that you click a button and it goes live with Stripe orchestration through us. Your declines can instantly go through there when the service is ready. It's coming a little bit in the summer. And what that means is, if you're on checkout as a small business, if you're on Elements, if you have your own payment solution, you're just using Stripe for the Elements and the PCI controls, or whether you're on the full payment stack and you own everything from A to Z, or you're on Stripe Connect. The good news is Stripe is your single common aggregation point. And what they've done is they've been able to say, hey, again, I don't know what your decline rates are as merchants, but again, I'm going to wager it's between 10 to 15% if you actually go through and look at the numbers. By deploying our app, which is, at the time I didn't know what the name it was going to be, so I kept it a little bit generic, but the idea here is by deploying our app, whether you're doing subscription purchases or e-commerce purchases, you're able to say, hey, we will be able to save about a third of those transactions and make them go through using the power of AI seamlessly, instantly, without zero customer friction, which is amazing. And the idea here is that it's not just about saving the transaction in and of itself. It's about being able to save a customer that is going to continue to shop for you for another 2-3 times in a given year. It's about being able to save a subscription customer that will come to you and say, hey, I'm going to execute my subscription for another 8 months. That's powerful. That's the engagement model, and that's the world we need to see when it comes to how do we save customers that in the old world things may have gone by the wayside. So with that in mind, that's what I have for you today. See payment declines as an opportunity, not the endpoint. See the opportunity that says, how do I work with Stripe? How do I work with my orchestrator? How do I work with my processors to help squeeze payment declines? It's something that we take for granted, and I think that's something that we can definitely do a better job of being able to help address and solve that problem for our customers everywhere. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.